Hello and welcome to the Easy Geek TV channel. In this video we're gonna handle the optical media, in our case the optical media discs like CDs and DVDs. Now someone might say that these are not the fancy technology that we have this day and age, right? So they must be obsolete, right? Well, not quite. A lot of people don't use them, but there is a percentage of users that still use them, especially for archiving and backup purposes, if for nothing else, right? So keeping backups via the optical discs isn't really cheap and reliable option if you don't have the means or the financial power to go and buy the latest and flashiest NVMe storage devices, which are, to be fair, are really expensive at this point. And even hard disk drives have their prices, should I say, have come up quite a lot lately. But even that, I would say that it is still worth in this day and age to use optical discs to keep personal files, especially for backup purposes, right? Because they are reliable, easy to replicate and to handle. As long as you keep their structure intact, like take care for them, same as you would take care for important documents you got for your, let's say, bank statements and so on and so forth. And as long as you keep them away from sunlight, because the sunlight can damage their structure due to the optical writing methods nature. Now, what we're gonna need to do that? Well, we might need to install a couple of programs. Let's go to the software manager. So click in here, start menu, open the software manager program. Type in on top K3B. There it is, the first one. Select that. This is the most used burning application, if I should say, or the writing application when it comes to Linux, in the world of Linux. So we're going to install that. You might have to install some dependencies or software libraries. Let's authorize it. Type in your password to authenticate. We'll also install a couple of other programs, like for example Fuse ISO 9660, which we will check in a moment, and Ubuntu restricted extras as they might be needed, and a couple of other programs, probably Acetone ISO. Another known program that you could probably use is Bracero, XF Burn, and Handbrake. Handbrake though is got another, it's a bit more fancy if you want to keep backups of DVDs you bought, which, a short disclaimer here, I'm not encouraging anything that's against the law in your country or area, so you do you. So let's install a couple other programs. Type Fuse ISO 9660. We'll install that. This might be needed. Let's wait for it to install. That's out of the way. And in some cases, if you want to, say, replay DVDs once you've written them and replay them through the, let's say, VLC or other media player, you might have to install the Ubuntu restricted extras, as you can see here on the top. We will install these. They might be needed. Right. So while this is installing, yeah, that is actually done. A couple of other programs that are used for this purpose are Bracero. This one here is not as famous, but it can get the job done, no problem, as you can see here. So another program that you can install via the software manager is the XF Burn. which, as the word suggests, is a CD burner application. There you have it. But in this video, we'll deal plainly with the K3B app or program, and we'll prepare a DVD, a data DVD in our case, not necessarily a, let's say, a video DVD where things are structured in a slightly different way, right? So let's go ahead and open K3B on your menu. Go into sound and video. As you can see now, we got K3B installed. Click on it to open it. It is opening. The interface is quite simple, actually. By the way, if you don't have an internal disk drive and you want to use an external disk drive, it will actually give you the opportunity. I should say you should plug it before you start opening the K3B burner and stuff. But in my case, I've got this optical disk drive. Now, I've prepared a folder for this purpose, and it's located in the home folder in my account. It is the Optical Media, where I've copied some files in here. Some of them are ISO files, like the Debian or Linux Mint, the one we installed in this computer. So it doesn't really matter. Now I've let me actually open Caja, the default file manager on Linux Mint, and let's go into the Optical Media directory. As you can see here, this is the set I've prepared. Sort of, I'm pretending now that I've got some files to write, or should I say, backup in these optical disks. In my case now, I'm not using a CD. I'll be using a blank DVD. And when it comes to blank DVDs, I would say do not buy the cheapest ones. They might be the cheapest ones, but they are not really recommended. Now, I will not go into details when it comes into technical terms and stuff, but do buy well-known brands, and I'm not naming any brands here, but you get the idea. Find a well-known brand that deals with the DVDs and it's got good quality. You might want to see some reviews and so on, especially for people who don't know and have never dealt with the DVDs and stuff, like in the olden days, in the early 2000s and so on and so forth. What we're going to use in this demonstration, we're going to copy, let's say, a personal folder with documents, ebooks if you've got something like that, music files, some other stuff, pictures, let's say there are important pictures of your family and so on and so forth, videos. So we'll just include this into the project, and we're going to make roughly like a collection if you wish. So let's go back to the K3B program, and let's say new data project. Now we're going to, first thing, I'm going to add the personal folder, and as you can see, it's already showing me the capacity it will take into the disk drive, into the DVD disk. And now I'm going to add let's say the Debian ISO image into the collection. Yeah, it's warning me that this is just an ISO image, but we're not going to use it so we're not going to burn the image directly, right? So actually you can do that, and as I explained here, you could probably do this, but it's really not worth it. Nowadays we can just use the USB, it's much faster. But we're going to use the simple methods, just like a mixed DVD, as we used to call them back in the days, a mixed data DVD or data DVD. So I'm just going to add it to the project, and then I'm going to add this other ISO. Again, I might get the same warning, no problem, just add it to the project. And as you can see, the total capacity it will take into the DVD disk that I will be writing is 2.5 gigabytes. Now, a normal DVD of 4.7 nominal, which is realistically 4.4, and this comes down to the naming of the manufacturers and so on and so forth. I'm not going to go into the history of that, but it takes roughly 4.4 gigabytes. Now, a good idea to keep in mind while doing all of this is that it's not recommended for you to go, like, it gives you the opportunity to load the disk up to 4.4 gigabytes. Now, although it allows you to do that, it's not really recommended. You want to leave a bit of space at the end, and this is just something I've come across myself, so others might disagree with it. Each to his own, I guess, but I do recommend you to leave a bit of space at the end, because usually when the DVD gets damaged for whatever reason, due to mishandling and stuff, usually the edge is the first thing that gets damaged, sort of speaking. Transferring, putting them in the case and so on and so forth, you get the idea. So leaving a bit of space at the side, sort of like a padding if you wish, indeed helps with the... And another thing with DVDs and CDs and even Blu-ray discs is that they are easy to replicate. So this is very handy, and I think I have to cover this real short, is that this project now here, we can save this project that we've, like the collection of files I've done here now, I can save this as it is. Let's say I want to replicate the same disk drive for some reason, the disk, optical disk, again, I'm keep messing this up, sorry for this, the DVD disk. Let's say for some reason I want to replicate this DVD in 4 or 5 similar data on similar DVDs with the same data in it. So to save that, go all the way to the file, save as, and you can go to Optical Media again, or even on your personal folder, which we are located in here. Let's call it the personal data without spaces in it, preferably, and you can save it. Now I'll just demonstrate where this has been saved. Let me open a new tab here, go all the way there, and as you can see, this is the project. Now if I open it, although I'm not doing it yet because I will just write this to the DVD, but once I'm done with this, I'm going to open the same project and it will have the exact same data I've collected here. And if I want to write that to a new disk, to a new empty disk, let's say I want to replicate this for some reason, share it to other people, like the normal backup rule of having separate copies into different places due to fire hazard and stuff, and all that it's included into this preparation. Let's say I want to make copies and spread them to a couple of friends so that I can have my personal pictures, right? So I can have them safe in another place if for some reason my place is in danger or so on and so forth. Now this is a scenario that, believe it or not, has happened. Now, at least not me, but in real life it does happen. I'm going to reopen this once we are done with the writing of the disk. So what I will do now, I'm just going to insert an empty or blank DVD disk into the disk drive, optical disk drive, and we're going to burn, sort of speaking, this project, right? So I'm going to do that now. By the way, you want to be careful when handling DVDs and CDs and whatnot, because they are delicate optical media. You might damage unknowingly. You might have damaged the upper layer where the data is stored. So do handle them carefully. So let's see. So can I mount the disk? Of course, no problem. And I will show you that the DVD is now inserted into the disk drive. Let's go back to K through B, and let's say we want to burn this, right? Current project. Let's say I want to burn it. File, device. There you have it, right? Burn. So project burn. So I will leave the writing mode to auto, and we'll just give it the go. So let's say burn, click on burn. Now this will take a while, of course, a short while maybe. Not much data into it, like even roughly 2.5 gigabytes. So still doing its own thing. I don't know if you can hear it from the microphone, but the process of writing or burning, as we used to say back in the days, is started. And I'm resume recording of the video once this is done. So the time now is 14:34. Let's see how long it will take. So the process of writing or burning the DVD is now finished. As you can see, it took roughly 8 minutes. So it's now closing the session, closing the outer layer of the burning session. Now you should be aware, for people who don't know, that there are different discs, like DVD discs. There are 4.4 gigabytes of storage, namely 4.7. So they write on top, they write 4.7. Actual capacity is 4.4. And then you've got the dual layer DVDs, which do get the twice the amount of data. And then of course you've got Blu-ray and the other fancy new tech, which is actually very difficult to find any burners for them because they are really expensive. So there you go. I don't know if you could hear it through the microphone, but the whole process was successful. We can close this. We can close this now. Of course, you can use CDs as well. So I'm going to close the whole K3B program. Well, let's say save. Saving file. It is done. Let's get back to the... Now, if I open this now, let's say open with other application. Let's say K3B. So we did save the project, sort of speaking, and now we will see, let's say we want to replicate the same DVD disk. And as you can see, as long as the same files are located or exactly where they were in the last time you sort of burned or written the DVD, you're good to go to sort of, again, replicate the same exact project. That's very handy, isn't it? So now let's see if this project was successful in the real practical terms. I'm going to load the disk, the DVD again, and we'll open and see. It should open now. Let's see. Because we want to make sure that what we did is indeed properly done, written. So we will not be wondering ourselves what happened if, let's say, after some years we want to open our precious pictures and we find out that the DVD is just it's not there, like the data is missing, and will be a pity, isn't it? Wasting our time preparing, let's say, our personal files, important documents, videos, ebooks, music, and other stuff. Let's say I want to go to the pictures. And as far as I can say, these pictures are properly copied. These are some royalty-free pictures taken from Pexels, by the way, for the purpose of this project. I'm just going to open one of them for demonstration purposes. So there you have it. The DVD now is ready. Okay, I'm going to close that, and we're going to get back to the software manager and install a couple of other programs if you want to, and have a look at them. Just for the purpose of having a look at them and testing them. If you don't like them, you can just remove them or not even install them in the first place, right? So this is Brasero. Let's install Brasero. Again, same function as I'm gonna enter my password. Same function as the K3B, but again, K3B is the most used DVD burning, CD burning, optical media burning program. I'm going to launch that. And again, let's say we got the same exact project, data project. Now we could copy files or add, let's go into the personal optical media. I'm going to add personal, Debian, and the other ISO. I'm going to add them. Well, that depends on if you use Windows computers according to the... I'll just do it for the sake of being okay, compatibility-wise. So, and you could just burn it. And again, I find that K3B has got a more intuitive interface, but I'm not here to judge. So, if you wish to use this disk, well, you can use this disk writer. You can use this, right? We're just demonstrating here. And now I'm going to go back and search for XF burn. XF burn, please. Yep. There you have it. I'm going to install that as well. It will download its dependencies or software libraries along. And there you have it. We can launch it. Let's try again. Well, it doesn't open for some reason. Never mind. Let's move on to the next program, which is Handbrake, and this is a bit more advanced. Okay, yeah, the program just opened now. So cool. Let's say new data composition, and again, same exact. Well, yeah. Open twice. Optical media. I'm going to add the exact same files again. Add them, and there you have it. You can actually shows the capacity it will take, the data you added, and again you can just proceed to burn. Very simple, really. So I'm not going to use that now, but now we can go and install Handbrake. This is a more advanced program for a lot of stuff. I would say do take a look at this program. As you can see here, very nice. And again, I'm not encouraging anything illegal or anything like that, but it's good to know to have this if you've got, let's say, bought copies of your DVDs and stuff. The Handbrake is actually one of the best programs in the Linux world, I should say, and so on and so forth. I'm not going to cover this program in this video, but it just for you to get the idea, right? Now, another program, if you want to burn, sort of speaking, ISO images, instead of like, let's go and see this. Acetone, ISO. As you can see, feature rich application to mount and manage CD and DVD images. This is actually a very good program. Highly recommend this. And again, not a lot of people use DVDs and this CD discs, but they are quite a reliable option, a practical option to store your personal data. Yeah, it's actually asking for some sort of a database, and I think that you could probably do, but standard settings should be okay. Media player, you can select VLC. And again, I know I've not installed VLC yet, just yet here. It might be covering in another video, but never mind. So it should be okay. So there you have it. I would highly recommend to just start with K3B and move, find your way in through the other apps, and if you ever need to, but that should be enough for this video thing. Should pretty much cover the basics. And again, this video's only scope is to use it in the backup centered way, not necessarily the other way. So I know there's a lot of stuff that this video cannot cover. Unfortunately, it will take a lot of time, and we're not here for that, really. But again, I hope this video was helpful to you in any form or shape. If so, please do like and subscribe, and make sure to follow the other videos, right? More stuff coming along. So stay in tune and keep safe. Thank you, and see you in another video. Bye for now.